simply waving his hand in rejection. After all, he was about to attend a meeting of the utmost importance to the cause of the Noctem Alliance. His mind could not be clouded by potion. As the figure looked around for his contact, he was momentarily distracted by the taunts, jeers, and general cacophony of a fight breaking out in the corner of the bar. The figure allowed himself a moment to watch as two thuggish brutes in tattered clothes locked their pickaxes. Soon an explosion of cheers erupted from the corner as one of the players slumped to the ground beside his pickaxe, and the crowd scrambled to collect his dropped items for themselves. The figure was slightly irritated by the noise, but he knew that it was by no means a bad thing. Quite the contrary, actually. This was the perfect place to go if you didn't wish to be overheard. As the rumble of the fight died down, the figure once again looked around the bar for his contact. It took a few passes before he finally locked eyes with a lone player, sitting across from an empty seat at a table amid the ruckus. This player was dressed in a relatively common skin, bearing the same body colouring as a spider. However, of the many eyes on the player's face, only the two largest ones had a distinctly human trait to them. The golden-hooded figure walked over and sat down across from the player. He wasted no time in speaking. "I've heard a lot about you. They say you're good at what you do." The spider player smiled. "And I heard that you might show your face around here again. Count Drake, I presume?" The gold-hooded figure faltered for a moment, but only slightly. He was nearly positive that this was the player he was looking for, but he had to be sure without a doubt. "I go by General Drake now, actually," Drake responded evenly. The spider player held her poker face. Drake couldn't read her in the slightest. He knew that the time had come, and he reached into the folds of his shawl. From there he produced an item, the head of a creeper. He only showed it to the spider player for a moment before immediately returning it to his inventory. Drake then glanced at the spider player expectantly. With her face still locked into a steely gaze, the spider player reached under the table. Drake focused intently on her hand and watched as she produced her own creeper head for a moment before returning it to her inventory. Instantly, the aura of tension at the table relaxed, and both players smiled. The two old friends had each revealed the unique items they had given each other the last time they had met, and both now knew they could talk freely. "It's good to see you again, Arachnia," Drake said. Then he smirked. "From what I heard, you've been pretty busy since I left." "You might say that," the spider player replied, amused. "I have to say, Drake, it's good to see you too. It's been a long time. So, you're a general now, huh?" "Sure am," Drake said. "And am I to assume that this is a position you obtained somewhere other than under the command of President Stan?" Arachnia asked with a smirk. Drake chuckled. "Oh, don't patronize me. You know perfectly well what I think of the illustrious Stan 2012. His voice was dripping with oily cynicism. "No, I'm now a general of the Noctem Alliance." "Really?" said Arachnia, raising an eyebrow slightly. "You don't mean that little protesters group that somehow managed to take over the entire server?" "That's the one," Drake replied, nodding. "I assume that you know what has happened in the Elementia mainland over the past month." "Of course I do, Drake. You of all people should know just how much information passes through this settlement," Arachnia murmured darkly. "Although I have to admit, it never did come to my attention that you were the one in charge of leading the Noctem Alliance to victory." Drake looked humble. "Well, I helped, but to be honest, I was just following orders. All the people who truly led the takeover are dead now, and Lord Tenebris appointed me and a few of my colleagues in their places." "Lord Tenebris?"